Have you ever thought that perhaps you could derive your happiness from a car or something else, some other material possession? Well, on today's episode, we'll discuss that and find out how. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome to Men on Fire. My name is Micah Wren, a former mechanic and engineer turned transformational teacher. And each week I'll deliver an inspiring message to help you excavate those repressed inner negative feelings and install new thoughts that will finally allow you to truly become the person you were born to be. Welcome to another episode of Men on Fire here on Soul Mechanic TV and Soul Mechanic Radio. And today I'm uncovering my newest purchase. It's a 2005 Porsche 911. And yes, I was one of those teens that had that 911 turbo poster on their walls and looked at it and the subtle curves and the beautiful friendly face, but that badass rear end that really meant business. And I always wanted to buy a Porsche 911. So now at 59, I finally have. It's not my first Porsche. I had a 944 turbo for a while. And I've also had a BMW Z4, which were great cars. But this is awesome. I still shake my head when I'm driving it, and I can't believe that I actually own it, or at least are the giver of it for now, and that I get to drive it. It's unbelievable. So, as we talked a little bit in the intro about can something that's material give us happiness? For example, a car. And I don't think the car, the physical entity of the car, provides us with our happiness. Our happiness comes from inside. But if you find something, whether it's a car or it's anything else, a home or shoes, clothes, it doesn't matter, that fills you up with that happiness, and the joy comes out, even looking at it or touching it, fondling it, driving in it, listening to it. All your 5 human senses get involved, and then that's great. But the thing is, if we get trapped in those things, that we want to change the way we feel in the moment, which is the root of all addictions, actually. You want to change the way you feel in the moment, so you take that extra drink, smoke that joint, buy those shoes, or eat that candy bar to get your sugar fix. Buy that new car. It doesn't matter if that is just a short-term thing, because you want to change the way you feel in the moment. It only works for a little while. But yeah, I mean, you've probably all had that feeling, right? I mean, even I have with other cars, like other new cars maybe perhaps that I've bought. And in 2 weeks, I'm excited, but then I'm saying, well, it's just a car. I mean, it wasn't one of these, which is not just a car. But anyway, I'm just like a boy with a new toy, really. But it goes back to the be-do-have discussion that I think I had many episodes ago, where, many people wait to have something before they do or become something. So for example, if you decide you want to become a giving person, but then you say, well, I only make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. I can't afford to give. But the way I see it is that you can't afford not to give. But the problem is you're waiting to have something before you do and before you be. So you wait to have some extra money so that you'll do, which is the giving. You'll give, this is the do, and then you'll finally be happy. But it doesn't work that way. You have to start at the other end with the be, right? So you have to be happy. Decide you're going to be a happy person, because happiness is an inside job. It comes from inside. So if I decide I want to be happy or be a giving person, then what would a giving person do? Well, they'd probably give a little bit of money to charity or help some people even for free. And you know, that can be as much as a smile. I mean, if you smile at somebody, that goes a long way. But then you wait and allow the universe to deliver your have. So you don't wait to have before you be first. So you be a giving person or you be a happy person. And then what would a happy person or giving person do? Decide that and then start doing those things. And once you start doing those things, things will come your way. There'll be all sorts of blessings coming your way, all sorts of serendipities and things happening in the universe, and people will start recognizing what you're doing. They'll start coming your way. So, yes, can you derive happiness from a material object? Absolutely. But you know, this car, for example, is a melting pot of steel, aluminum, magnesium, rubber, different sorts of padding, like the inside interior. You know, there's leather and there's padding underneath and foam, and the brake pads are a different fiber. It's all from this earth. And although you might say, well, you know, it's steel comes from iron ore, it's just an inanimate object, but it's not. If you put it under a very, very powerful microscope, it looks like we do inside. All there is particles with a lot of empty space. It's just a little bit denser, so it feels harder. So in fact, all of these things that are derived in this car, even synthetic materials, because they're made from something else that was not synthetic, right? So even that, it is an animate object, not an inanimate object. So this is my 2005 Porsche 911. Her name is Maria, and I love her to death. Now, how long will I have the car? I don't know. You know, I bought it as also an investment. I mean, no car really is a true investment. But the prices of these cars, especially these years, were continually going up. And I looked at it about a year ago and they were $10,000 cheaper. But I decided to go in now, and then, you know, our long-term plans are to live in Panama, if you followed any of my videos. So if that happens in 3-4 years, I'll sell the car. I'm certainly not taking it with to Panama, but we'll just see what happens. And when we part ways eventually, because none of us really own anything, right? I mean, when you go to the grave, you're not taking anything with you, right? It's all staying back. So that's why I mentioned I'm, you know, a caretaker of the car, really, until the next owner takes over. So I do think you can derive happiness from a material object. And in this case, I certainly do from this vehicle, by driving it, by sensing how the steers, how the noises and feeling from the tires, because it's a sports car, right? You get that. It's not isolated like a big SUV or whatever, which I also have. A Toyota Highlander, which is, I drove it the other day and I thought it was floating because I hadn't driven it in a few days, and I was driving this. And thought I was sitting so high up because you sit so low to the ground to this. So it's a different feeling altogether, and I love that feeling. I've always been a car aficionado, and especially Porsche, and especially a 911, and I finally did it. So don't think that you cannot bring yourself happiness from something that you may want in the future, but just focus on being who you need to be, and then do the things you need to do in order to achieve that goal. And that could be from anything, from your business, from your personal life, for something like this, which is extracurricular activity, really. Anything you want to do, it'll solve any of your problems. Be, do, have, not have, be, do. Okay? Good. I'm glad you got that. Now, I'm going to stop it here and just give you a little bit of a tour of the vehicle before we leave. See you in a moment. Okay, folks, there she is in all her glory. Like, have a look at the headlights and the front end. It's a very friendly face, is it not? Check out the license plate, by the way. It's a very friendly face. It's not an angry face like so many cars today have these angular lines, and they look like those animated birds, those angry birds, you know, with the eyebrows pointing down like they're always pissed off. You know, is that what we're doing as a society? We're even making our cars to look angry. It's a beautiful day here on Lake Ontario, by the way. As you can see, Amherst Island just across the way with the windmills. Now, that friendly face gives way to that badass rear end. Oh yeah. Look at the hips on Maria. I was watching it the other day and wow, unbelievable. Now, you probably think I'm a little bit odd, and that's okay. I own my weirdness and I own my oddness. But, take it from me, she's a beauty, and I'm so happy to have it. So it brings me joy and it brings me happiness. So that's it for me, folks, today. Thank you so much for watching today's episode out here by the lake with Maria and I, and we look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Take care, and don't forget, you're the one. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As always, keep what feels good and dump what doesn't. And remember, live without judgment, give without expectation, and love for no reason. Follow those 3 simple expressions and you'll be well on your way to an inspirational, intentional, and successful life. Until next time, you're the one.